And the kids are back in school, so I want to talk about how acupuncture can really support you and your family right now. We're going to talk about a few things. We're going to talk about your immune system, preventing illness, staying strong, preventing injuries, treating injuries, staying calm, feeling calm. If you don't sharpen your saw is going to sharpen you. So let's talk about a few things. It's been 27 years now that I've been in practice, and I'm very grateful. Some of you guys have been coming in, referrals from the community on social media, such as Facebook and Instagram. So thank you. I'm very grateful for that. And also thank you to those of you who are directly telling your friends and family to come in so that they can feel as marvelous and incredible as you. So visit elementsinharmonyacupuncture.com. You'll see that I've done a lot of newsletters. Every one of these things I've done a newsletter on that's related to it or this topic specifically. So your immune system, this is a time to take care of yourself. This is the time, not when you already have the sinus pressure or the sinus pain, or if you have an ear infection or you have a sore throat. Nice to breathe, nice to not have phlegm, nice to not have bronchitis or a cough. Treat it now. These newsletters that I'm talking about, some of them I'm going to put in, and if this is on YouTube or whatever social media, you'll see the link there. But if you go to elementsinharmony.com, you can just go on the search and type in immune system, or I've categorized my website, pain, fertility, internal health. You'll see that quite a few of these topics are in there. Elementsinharmonyacupuncture.com is my third website. My first website had a lot more, but I've been building it, so I hope you find what you're looking for. We want to prevent an illness. It's so much easier to prevent a cough than it is to treat the cough. I can definitely treat the cough. I can use acupuncture, herbs. We have an in-house massage therapist. I do massage. I've been a massage therapist since 1996. All these techniques, fire cupping, gua sha, electrostim, all those are very, very helpful. I will tell you, as a practitioner, it's so much more effective if you can prevent the illness. So if you've been with me for at least 3 to 6 months, you'll notice something that doesn't happen to me is you probably won't see me get sick because I have to practice what I preach. So please do everyone a favor, and especially in your family, take care of yourself, because especially parents, but especially mommy, if it's the mom who's driving the most, or daddies, there could be stay-at-home dads, or you guys could be 50-50. I see a lot of women here, but it's so much easier if you, the parents, take care of yourselves, because if you're sick, your kids are out. But if your kids are sick, that's even harder. So please keep your kids well. This is around the time, September, October, where we may start entering a flu season. I've been doing this since 1999. From October to about March is this flu season. And they're talking about different, get your flu shot and stuff like that. And I will tell you that Chinese medicine is a marvelous thing that you can do if you want to do it in conjunction or in lieu of taking care of your health. If you want to not have to take cough syrup or anything like that, if you're just constantly living off, the over-the-counter stuff, try preventing it so that if you do have to take an OTC, you're not living on it for like 2 to 4 weeks. You're able to just, maybe take whatever for like 1 to 3 days and you're over it. One thing that my patients notice is that they stay healthy. I want you to really think about that. They stay healthy and they don't get sick, so then they have a better time in life. And so that's something to consider. We do herbs here. Herbs can very much help you stay healthy. So we want to prevent the illness. We want to prevent a cough. We want to prevent an ear infection. We want to prevent whatever it is you're thinking about. You can prevent it. That's a topic of discussion that is not usually out there, but I like to bring it up. That's why if you ever call me or text me and people say, oh, I'm not feeling well today, well, then you should be coming in. We want to stay strong. If you're strong, everyone around you is strong. And a lot of you are carrying the burden for the whole family. You're the decision maker, you're the breadwinner, you're the one that everyone's looking, getting getting your kids to ballet on time, getting them to piano, getting them to soccer, getting them to the football, getting them to the to the debates, getting them to competitions, getting them right now it's practice, practice, practice. You're waking up, like if you're like us, my daughter is in, I've raised competitive dancers, we're musicians, we're a jiu-jitsu family, we do basketball, we do all kinds of stuff. And some of you guys are in schools like performing arts schools. You got to wake up at 5 or 6 in the morning. The earliest we start, where my daughter has to be in school, my middle one, is 6:45 in the morning. So I have to practice what I preach so that I stay strong and calm, and I too can make it to my own jiu-jitsu classes. And they have so many classes, these kids. And so I'm an advocate for lying down. I treat a lot of kids here. And it's important for them to just chill out and lie down. I've treated kids for if they're bedwetting, if they have migraines, if they have neck pain, if they have growing pains, if they had a concussion. One of my kiddos is now a college student, and his sister, I treated him from when he was an elite soccer player since he was a kid, traveling all around the world. And now I'm treating his sister. And when his sister had a concussion the third year, I didn't treat her the first 2 times, but the third time she was like mentally out. After 3 treatments, she was able to get straight A's again and play soccer and act like nothing happened. And she did not recover like that the first 2 times. It is very important to understand that these kids are busy. I like to do nothing. Here in Orange County, that is a commodity, doing nothing. So if you are a typical parent or someone who works in the school system and you know that kids are boom, 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 you need to sharpen your saw, sharpen your kid's saw so that they can be strong. When there's a skin issue, some of my pediatric patients and adult patients, they have skin issues. If you have eczema, dermatitis, acne, psoriasis, that's usually exacerbated when there's stress. So when your cortisol's low, you'll notice that your skin situation is not as prevalent. But when you're calmer, even stuff like herpes outbreak, especially if it's a genitalia situation, my patients who've had, genital hair herpes, they notice that when they're doing acupuncture consistently, they don't get outbreaks because their immune system's high and their stress is low. This is how we prevent an illness. Look up immune system. I've done 3 immune system newsletters. You can text me or call me at 949-735-9733 or 619-341-4341. I will text you these things directly. I will lead you, or you can WhatsApp me. We want to prevent injuries. I've treated a lot of athletes, professional athletes, Olympians, 5 Olympians, 4 of them gold medalists, 1 bronze. I hope to treat more Olympians. I've treated some NFL players. I treat a lot of kids getting their scholarships. I treat some college students in different universities around the country, and they are athletes. These people are athletes. This is their job. Their job is to win. And so when they can't go to their coach and say, hey, can I take 2 weeks off? Well, then they're here getting treated so that they can perform. I know a lot about what it takes for kids to perform. My daughters have been competitive dancers, and they also do jiu-jitsu, and they also play basketball, and they also have been musicians. I'm a violinist. When you're in this position, playing the violin, or if you're playing piano, you're in the same position, or if you're playing trumpet, or if you're playing drums, those repetitive motions that you're doing really impact your muscles. One of my ladies, she's in her 70s, and guess what? She's a drummer, she's a dancer, and she can drum again. She was kind of out of the loop because she couldn't drum. One of my patients, she's in her 90s, and she just recently retired her horse just in the last year or so, an Arabian horse. She lives alone, and she has been active. My job in her life the last few years is making sure that she can ride her horse. The horse is is retired now, but she was able to ride her horse. And I hope she still can ride a horse because it's important. When you love horses, I'm here right next to Nellie Gale. There are a lot of people who have horses or they do competitive horse riding. They do the jumps, they do the European stuff, they do the Western. I'm not super familiar with all the terminologies, but I get these beautiful, cards of them on their horse, like jumping, doing the jumping stuff. And I have people who just like to ride horses. And that affects your hips, that affects your knees, that affects your shoulders. And so, whatever your sport is, acupuncture can help you. But you can't ride your horse if you have sciatic pain. You can't play, water polo if your neck hurts. You can't play soccer or baseball if you have an injury with your shoulder. Acupuncture brings that to the table, being able for your body to function as if nothing happens. I'm back on the mat, and it's a big deal for me. A lot of times people don't know that I'm 52 and I have 3 kids, and they don't care. They don't care. So the fact that I can be on the mat and roll with strong dudes is a big deal for me. I have to practice what I preach. I have to take care of myself. I have to keep my immune system high because I don't want to get anyone sick on the mat. And I have to keep my joints healthy and strong. And acupuncture brings that to the table. We do acupuncture. If you like electrostim, we do hot stones. We do massage. We have a neuromuscular sports therapist. I have been doing massage since 1996 professionally. We do gua sha, fire cupping. I teach qigong at the beach. This is the time to sharpen your saw. You're going to keep hearing me say this so that you get the point. And if you've been with me all this time throughout the video, thank you. I have been doing these short videos, but it's been a while since I've made a video explaining to people why you need to come in. Something that you really need to consider is that if you're calm, the issues that happen on the streets is not going to bug you. I mean, my daughter started back in school on Tuesday. I'm so grateful because I have a college graduate who's working now. So I'm really focusing on 2 kids. And one is a sophomore and one is a 3rd grader who will start the week of Labor Day. It's only been a couple of days and we're starting early in the morning and I'm already hearing people honking at each other. They're not honking at me, but they're honking at each other because they're distressed, they're stressed out, and they're impatient. And it would be easier if you decide to leave an hour early. That's my policy. Let's focus on leaving an hour early. We got to be at school at 8:30. Let's leave at 7:30. If you study Dr. John Gray, he talks about oxytocin. When your oxytocin's high, your stress is low. That's a whole conversation. I've done a lot of videos on it. I just want to keep that very, very short. Leave an hour early. If you can't leave an hour early, be okay with being late. When you start work or school at 8:30 and everyone's arriving at 8:20, just know that you're probably going to be stressed out. So if you don't want to be stressed out, just be okay with being late or leave an hour early. Something to consider is that acupuncture really keeps the cortisol low. And when your cortisol is low, everyone's happier. I wanted to pull up some stuff on ChatGPT to help you guys understand how acupuncture can help. Acupuncture doesn't eliminate stress and it doesn't need to. It helps your body learn how to move from stress toward regulation. So you can shift from fight or flight toward calm, recovery, and connection. So my first website was called moveyourchi.com. And that's important because when chi is stagnant, that's when we have a tendency to have tension. Tight, TMJ, just tight jaw, tight neck, tight shoulders, low back pain, hip pain, wherever your Achilles heel is, whatever your weakness is, that's where you'll start seeing your illness. If you have a tendency towards stressing out, you'll probably have tight neck and shoulders, or you might start feeling constipated, or you might start having diarrhea. or you might have migraines or headaches. Every one of these things I've done a newsletter on. Just call me, text me, 949-735-9733 or the 619 number, and I will send you the information. So you can say, oh, I didn't know acupuncture can do that. So it's kind of neat that AI is sharing these things that is like, oh, yes, we want to talk about balancing chi, restore the smooth movement and balance of chi, the autonomic and stress response regulation, restoring the smooth flow of balance of and balance of chi. So I find that very fascinating that that's something that AI is bringing up, that we want to keep your chi moving smoothly, which was the first name of my website, my first website, moveyourchi.com. So chi is not meant to be stuck. Oh, we want to move your chi. Again, my new website, which has been around now for years, is elementsinharmonyacupuncture.com. But there's a reason why we wanted to make sure we move your chi. Acupuncture does this. It helps you have great relaxation and recovery, nervous system regulation. So I'm reverse engineering. So basically, when there's fight or flight, that's when we're tense. Stress response activates. Acupuncture provides gentle sensory input. It does a nervous system regulation. So you basically get a reboot, greater relaxation and recovery. So I like to name my treatments. That doesn't mean the treatments always are the same points, but I like to name them. So when people come in, they're stressed out, they have watery eyes or dry eyes, or their immune system's affected, I tell them, I'm going to give you the formula for the Formula One treatment. Because you are a Formula One car. You're going, going, going. And when the Formula One car comes to the pit stop, they gotta, do whatever they gotta do to give new tires and basically recharge, revamp this car. If you don't sharpen your saw will sharpen you. Plain and simple. If you don't get your massages, if you don't get your adjustments, if you don't get your acupuncture, if you're not doing your yoga, if you're not doing your Pilates, if you're not doing your Qigong, which I teach Qigong at the beach, if you're not doing your Tai Chi, if you're not doing your journaling, if you're not meditating, if you're not doing all the things you're supposed to be doing, listening to your higher frequencies and stuff like that, I mean, this is Southern California. And if you're watching this outside Southern California and you're in a metropolitan area, you probably this still, I used to live in San Francisco, any metropolitan area, you're going through the same stuff. You need to sharpen your saw. You need to take care of yourself. By the way, I teach Qigong at the beach on demand. So if you want to do Qigong with me at the beach, we do it right next to the pier in San Clemente. There's lots of bars there and restaurants there. The parking's super easy. It's just, if I were to have it somewhere else, Laguna Beach, the parking's going to be too tough. Huntington Beach, the parking's going to be too far. I chose a place that I've been teaching at the same place. And if there is an unexpected event, just go to the right between towers 4 and 6. That's where we are. I want it as chill as possible, and it's fun. So one thing also to consider is when it comes to acupuncture may help regulate the body's stress response and support autonomic balance. So when we have a higher cortisol level, that's usually when there's a chronic stress issue. Perceived threat causes brain stress circuits, HPA axis, and cortisol. I'm reading directly from ChatGPT. So what does this mean in real life? You're not being chased by tigers, but you are driving more, you're waking up earlier, you're driving more, you got to be on time more often than you were during the summer, moms and dads. You got to be somewhere, plus you probably have to go to work. Or if you're a homemaker, you got to go home, you got to go to Trader Joe's, you got to go to Whole Foods, you got to go to Ralph's, wherever you go grocery shopping. And you got to make sure you have everything ready, and you got to make lunch or dinner tonight, and then you got to do the laundry, and you got to go to Target or wherever you need to go, Costco, wherever, and you got to get this done by a certain time. And somewhere around there, you got to have lunch and to take care of yourself. That's why a lot of people come during their, while the kids are in school. One of my patients, she's here, she said, This was the first full day at school. So she's here lying down. And that was what inspired me to do this video, because a couple of my moms are back because they get it. They're programmed to understand that if they treat their immune system before their immune system goes out of whack, they're not going to have to suffer. No one likes, we don't have, hey, moms and dads, we don't have the privilege to be sick. And not all of us have the ability to count on our spouses, because some people don't have a spouse, and some people, their spouse is traveling or on business, and not everyone. I used to have a nanny for 5 years. I don't have a nanny anymore. So a lot of the responsibilities may lie on one main person who may be the homemaker, whether that's the husband or the wife, and they are, that's their job. Their job is to get the kids up, make sure they brush their teeth, make sure they floss their teeth, make sure they eat, make sure they're well packed for lunch, make sure that they get in the car on time, make sure they drive calmly to school. And there's a lot of, police officers on the roads right now, making sure everyone's in line and not, breaking any laws, and getting to school on time and doing what you got to do so you get to work and your day just started. So this is when you want to sharpen your saw so your saw doesn't sharpen you. Let me see if there's anything else that AI wants to share regarding your sympathetic nervous system is your gas pedal. This is fight, flight, vigilance, increased heart rate. I did a video about what acupuncture does to your brain. And so if you want to watch that video, it basically, getting you to this theta state. We want to keep you calm. And so if you want to watch that video, I can help you with that. If there's anything else, chronic stress is a big deal. This is when you want to stay calm. Your chronic stress will affect your hormones. If you want to get pregnant, your hormones will be affected if you are under chronic stress. If you're not getting enough sleep. I've been making babies since 1999 professionally, and I had my third baby over 9 pounds at 43 years old. That matters. So if you want to get pregnant and you want to carry to full term and you want a baby that's at least 6 pounds, if not 7 or more pounds, I think that matters. I was 6 pounds. My kids were 7, 8.8, and over 9 pounds respectively. When you have a big healthy baby, you're less stressed out about that baby thriving. I think we can all agree that if you have a 2-pound baby or a 3-pound baby that's going to be in NICU for anywhere between a week to however many months, it's a little more stressful. So if you want to have a baby, and this is the year, you want to keep yourself strong. Daddy should be strong, mommy should be strong. So something to consider. So there are a lot more that I can share. I want you to be at your best this year and stay strong. Boost your immune system now. Don't wait till you're sick. But if you do get sick, come in so we can immediately treat any sinus congestion, any phlegm, prevent it from becoming phlegm. But if you have phlegm, we can do the acupuncture and herbs right away. Sore throat, if you have any tension, fix it before it becomes pain. You want to keep your range of motion moving instead of getting to a place where you were hurting yourself with, repetitive movements, and now you can't lift your shoulder, or you can't turn your neck, or you can't squat. Your knees are, out of commission. You want to be healthy and strong. You want to move your chi now, internally, externally, and you want to stay calm. Don't let the stress out there get to you. Respond, don't react. And one thing you can do is leave an hour early. Leave an hour early. I wanted to leave at 7:30 this morning. I was good to go. I was waiting in the car with my son, and my daughter thought we were still hanging out. And we still got to school 10 minutes early, but we could have gotten to school 30 minutes early. If you arrive early, you won't be stressed out. That's one thing you can do, because when you hear about car accidents, or you see an accident on the road, or, just some, unfortunate things that happen, maybe sometimes tragic things, some of it could have been prevented by just leaving early. And it's okay if you're going to be late. Just know that. Just call ahead. You have permission. You're an adult. Tell them, I'm going to be a little late. Because if you can, Dr. John Gray talks about this, if you're, especially for women, if we're on a time frame and you're running late and you're not going to be there 5 to 10 minutes early like you expected, that's going to drop your oxytocin. You're not going to feel, your fight or flight's going to be, intense. You're going to be, not happy, and then you're not going to make other people happy. And then you're going to have constipation and a headache and a migraine and your tightness of your neck and shoulders, and you're just not going to be patient. I know, because I had to master these things in my own life. One thing you can do is just lie down. Come in for acupuncture and lie down. A lot of times I fix people, and even after they're fixed, they come here to just lie down, get their acupuncture, 30 minutes up to 3 hours. I always guarantee 45 minutes. People typically stay 1 to 3 hours if I don't need the table or the chair, because you just need to disappear. You just need to be somewhere else where you can just stay calm, listen to your podcast, listen to your music, or listen to my music, and just relax. This is my public service announcement for the semester. I want you to share this. This is one of my longer videos. I haven't done a long video in a long time. I didn't read from any of my testimonials. I didn't talk about a specific case. This is just a public service announcement for everyone to know you deserve to relax. We live in a go, go, go society. And the fact that 2 of my mommies are here because they've been trained to take care of themselves, and we want to fix the TMJ. We want to stay calm. We want to be able to sleep. I've done an insomnia. I think my newsletter is elementsinharmonyacupuncture.com/sleep. But text me, call me, and I'll give you all these newsletters. I have them all. And you can also just go on my website, elementsinharmonyacupuncture.com, and just go in the search. And if you don't find it there, I will send it to you. You can just also look on YouTube, name the topic, Anna Dolopo libido, Anna Dolopo immune system, Anna Dolopo neck pain, whatever it is. I've probably done a video on it. I've been doing these videos since 2006. I've been in practice since 1999. I have a lot to say about many, many things. And the most important thing I can share with you is to stay healthy. Stay healthy and you will be healthy. If you get sick, come in right away so we can fix it now. It's really tough to see some of my jiu-jitsu friends, and I know because I was out last year from an injury. And I was able to train, but not train as much as I wanted to. And that had nothing to do with jiu-jitsu. It had to do with my 75-pound dog, and that's a whole story. Having said that, it's really hard to get back on the mat or get back on the field or get back on the court after an injury. But if you can prevent an injury or get treated right away so that you can get back to playing volleyball, back to playing piano, back to wrestling as soon as possible, it's going to be easier. If you've had a concussion, like one of my patients, and she had 2 concussions before, but she noticed this time she did 3 acupuncture treatments. I never treated her before. Did 3 treatments. She was able to get her straight A's again and go back to playing soccer. That's amazing. It's harder if you've had pain for 6 months, a year, 2, 3+ years, and 10 years or so, and now we have to heal it. We can do it. You just have to be here at least 2 to 5 times a week. If you come once a week, please be patient. If you come under once a week, don't expect anything. You might have some temporary results. If you go once a week, I expect 30 to 70% improvement in 2 to 4 months. If you go 3 times a week or more, I want to fix it within 1 to 5 weeks. By at least 80%, if not more. If you can go back to surfing, if you can go back to tennis, if you can go back to writing, if you can go back to, some of you are readers, and if you are injured, sometimes it's hard to concentrate. If you want to go back to making your podcast, if you want to go back to traveling, some people are not traveling right now because they're in so much pain. This is a very, very long video. I understand that. I just want to bring it home because I haven't done a public service announcement in a while. So call me, text me, 949-735-9733 or 619-341-4341. We can heal you. We can heal you. Okay, Elements in Harmony Acupuncture.com. My name is Dr. Anna Dolopo. I've been serving Southern California since 1999, and we are open 7 days a week, typically. All right, you take care.